Hello and welcome to our new writing session from chapter 2 about descriptive writing, and this is part 2. By the end of this session you should be able to write an essay or story composed of 4 to 5 paragraphs describing an animal. So descriptive writing is like painting but with words. So that you have to mention all the details that you can imagine about the situation or about the animal you describe or about the person you describe. And while writing, you have to consider your audience and the purpose of writing. So you have to think, who will read your description? How much do they know about your subject? If your audience, your intended reader, has never seen what you're describing, make sure you describe even the most basic details about your subject. So if you are writing to someone who doesn't know, you are writing about one of your friends and describing her, and you are writing to someone who has never seen your friend before, like one of your family who is living in another country. So you have to write all the details and the basic also details. Focus on details that show how special it is or she is. For example, if you're going to write to describe a place, you have to focus your writing about um, all the details, and then you make your deepest impression. You mention your deepest impression about this place. This is what we talked about before. So, your purpose in writing a description is to share what you have experienced with the readers. So, how are you going to share your experience with the reader without imagining it first and living it and recalling all the details and then mentioning all these details? To achieve this purpose, include vivid sensory details in your writing. This is what we were talking about last session, that you have to use your five senses and give clear sensory details about the scene or the food or the person or the place or whatever you're describing. A sensory detail is a word or a phrase or a sentence that gives precise information about the look, here the sight sense, or sound, or taste, or touch, or smell of something. Also, you should work on gathering details. Before you begin writing, gather details about your subject. For example, you're going to write about the flamingo bird, and all that you know about the flamingo is that it's pink. You cannot write a whole essay describing a flamingo while you don't know anything about it. You have to know all details about the bird. What does it eat? What is its shape like, and its beak also, and what does it eat? Where does this bird live? And the weather that it likes. Do they migrate to warmer places? Or everything. You have to do a research about the subject or the object or about the animal that you describe. Make sure you gather details for all of the senses, also because you are doing this research for writing, so you should focus on finding details related to your senses. To write sensory details are especially effective for creating a vivid picture for readers, as you can see in this example. No sensory detail. I got into the wagon for a hayride. And the added sensory details. The hay crackled when I threw myself down, wrapping me in a cloud of sweet and sour smells, and prickling me busily. along my arms. So as you may see here in this second sentence, using sensory details, here crackled, this is the hearing, this is a sound. Threw myself down, wrapping me in cloud of sweet and sour taste, and the smells also for the smell, prickling me busily, uh, throwing me busily along my arms, and this means itching busily along my arms. So also here this is a sensation for the inching on the arm. Okay, so here he used many of sensory words. Let's watch this video.
You need to have a dominant impression. You're describing one thing. That one thing is your main point. This becomes your topic or thesis statement. You might describe a room, a place, a person, or some other thing. Let's try, the island was a disaster after the hurricane. What's the dominant impression here? We know the topic is the island, but what are we saying about the island? We're saying that the island was a disaster after the hurricane. So the disaster is our dominant impression, and that's what we want to describe. So let's add some supporting details. Use your senses. Add specific details to support your topic or thesis statement. What do you do, see, hear, smell, feel, taste. The island was a disaster after the hurricane. You can smell dead fish. You see broken trees. You hear the sound of silence because there's no power and there's no cars moving on the road. You can taste warm water because there's no refrigeration, so the bottled water is going to be warm or even hot. You can feel the hot sun and the humidity in the air. During a hurricane, after a hurricane, it becomes very humid. We use spatial order to organize our ideas. Descriptive writing organizes the details by moving through space. Imagine you just stepped off a plane onto the disaster site of the island. What is the first thing you would notice? Would you smell the dead fish first? Or maybe the heat and humidity would hit you first. Or maybe you are stunned by how quiet it is with no cars moving and the power out. To finish up, once you've generated a lot of ideas using your senses, form all your ideas into complete sentences. Add some transitions to make your sentences or paragraphs flow together nicely. Check to make sure you've described everything you can think of. Check all your senses. Did you describe something using each sense? And as always, proofread, spell check, and have someone else read your paragraph or essay. Happy writing.
So let's talk about another element in your writing, which is revising and proofreading, and also editing. So let's take let's take a close look at revising, editing, and proofreading. Revising your sentences. Eliminate means delete. Run on sentences. Please take great care and attention about run on sentences. Many students write run on sentences and they think that they write awesome paragraphs while they have a big fatal mistake run on sentences. When too many details collide in a sentence, the results may, let me pick this. Too many details collide in a sentence, the result may be a run-on sentence. This is a grammatical mistake. Two or more complete sentences written as though they were a single sentence. A run-on, my grandfather is a tall man. He is strong. He can run through 3 miles a day. See? Here, this is one complete sentence. Should be on its own. Here, another complete sentence, and of course the first one is a complete sentence, so we have 3 complete sentences. This is a run-on. The possible correction: my grandfather is a tall man, and then a period. He is strong, and then a comma and to make these 2 sentences a compound sentence, adding a comma in the end, and then he can run 3 miles a day. Use this strategy to find and eliminate some run-ons. Say back. What's say back? Give your feedback or ask for feedback. Share your revised draft with a group of 4 or 5 of your classmates. Read your draft as the group listens. You can read aloud, or you can give them to revise for you, or give you feedback if you can have someone to do this for you. Then ask the group to take notes as you read your draft a second time. Listeners should jot down 2 things: what they like and what they want to know more about. For example, what they want to know more about means that you didn't give enough details in your writing. So proofreading means that you check your spelling, your grammar, and the accuracy of your sentences. So, what is the difference between revision and editing? Revision means re-seeing the paper as a whole, addresses higher order concerns, organizations, audience, development. Okay, so you think again about your your piece of writing. Okay, okay. What about editing? Comes after revision and after proofreading. Proofreading means grammar, spelling, and structure of your paragraph. Okay, sentences and words. Addresses lower order concerns, word choice, clarity, and conciseness. So let's practice. Already started writing. They wrote two paragraphs. And here for grade 6B, they chose to write about the flamingo. We're going to start writing this week. Please write your homework. Only few girls send me their homework. I want everyone to try and to jot down their ideas in paragraphs and send them by email and inform me in the virtual class. Thank you so much.